Everybody run for your lives. It's the Cosmos 482. What? All right, here's the deal. Soviet-era satellite that was meant to land on Venus back in the 1970s instead is expected to soon plunge back here to Earth. The spacecraft is named Cosmos 482. It has been orbiting our planet for almost 53 years, and it is expected to start falling as early as this week. So let's check in with Dr. Geza Juk. He is the Senior Director of Astronomy at the Adler Planetarium here in town to tell us all about it. Dr. Juk, thanks for joining us this morning. First of all, let's get a little quick history lesson here. Cosmos 482, they wanted this to go to Venus. Why didn't it make it?
Well, we believe it was launched as part of the Venera series, and those were first launched into an orbit around the Earth, and then they would have an extra sort of secondary boost, just a little bit extra to send it on its way. And it seems like that part, the secondary boost cut down, stopped a little early, and just didn't give it enough oomph to make it all the way to Venus. So it got stuck instead in this very elliptical orbit where it went quite a distance out, 10,000 kilometers, and then came swooping back down close to the Earth again. And so
all right.
Sort of
give us an idea about the size of this, Dr. Juk, because this is, it's not a huge satellite, but it's also not a little tiny piece of space junk.
No, it's quite substantial. It's about 1 meter, 3 feet across, and weighs about half a ton.
Okay. And how do we know that it's going to be re-entering the Earth's atmosphere now? This thing has been kind of, safely out there for half a century. Why are we concerned this week?
Well, so we track pretty much everything that's out in orbit around the Earth, just to keep track of where it is and to make sure, well, that's not re-entering. But what happened is that the original orbit came close to the Earth, about 200 kilometers up, and then went all the way up to about 10,000 kilometers up. So, and that orbit, so every time it came close to the Earth, it would brush through a little bit of the atmosphere, and that would slow it down. And so it wouldn't get quite as far out the next time. And it just kept doing this for about 53 years. And at this point, it's lost a lot of its energy, and it's really just, it's sort of started its death plunge. The height, the altitude above the Earth is just rapidly decreasing.
That's a good way of describing it, the death plunge. And because this particular satellite was built to survive the crushing pressure of Venus, this is not going to incinerate like a lot of other space debris would on re-entry, correct?
Absolutely. It's a re-entry probe. It was designed to fly through Venus's atmosphere, slow down, and then make it to the surface of Venus. And Venus is just a much more rough environment than the Earth.
All right,
so
well,
it should have no problem.
This is going to land somewhere on the planet, generally at temperate latitudes, and there's a lot of population in those areas. What are the chances of it hitting something where there's a populated area? How worried should we be?
Not terribly worried. I mean, most of the Earth is water, and so it's much more likely it's going to land in water. And even on most of the land, most of it just doesn't really have a whole lot of people on it. And the other nice thing is that this thing is almost certain to come down intact, one piece. So it's not going to be spread into lots of fragments, which can all hit people separately. This will be one piece, and so it's a very low chance it's actually going to fall anywhere near a person.
Okay, coming down at about 150 miles per hour, a 1-ton boulder, let's call it. If it lands in the middle of a farm field or the, ocean, woohoo. If it lands on top of my roof, that's not going to be a happy time, is it?
No, it's not. On the other hand, you will have your very own Soviet-era space probe.
But I have to give it back. That's what I've read, Dr. Juk. We can't keep it because the Russians are going to want this thing back. All right, and we really don't have any specific time where it's going to come real quickly here, right? Just sometime maybe the next few days, correct?
Yeah, right now it looks most likely to come in the early morning hours of May the 10th, but there's still like 10 or 12 hours on either side where it could come down. But
all right, I'm going to put
as the time gets closer, we'll have a better estimate.
All right, I'm going to put on my aluminum hat and hope it doesn't hit me there. Dr. Geza Juk from Adler, we appreciate your time this morning, and we're going to keep tabs on the Cosmos 482. And